This is Mike making my video to add to my collection. Today is 13th of March 2025 and it's 8:15 p.m. So yeah, I'm basically talking about how you gotta empty yourself out. Basically like Paul said, like a drink offering, and clean yourself out. You gotta, the one who made the inside also made the outside, and you gotta clean yourself out. You gotta clean out the cup, the chalice, and you gotta fill it with new wine. So you basically have it to where you no longer crave the old wine, and you start craving the new wine. New ways of being, new ways of thinking. Um, yeah, so anyway, that's how that works. You clean out the cup, you empty yourself out, you get rid of all those negative thoughts, those blockages, all those impasses. You clean out the cup, and then when you do that, it makes you feel empty on the inside and blank. But you no longer desire anything. You possess nothing, and you know nothing. And when you do that, what happens is there's a vacuum, and that vacuum gets filled. And it's kind of like you're given epiphanies, and you usually when you desire nothing and you possess nothing, and you don't lean on your own understanding, what happens is you're kind of a blank slate, and God can do His best work with you. God can only fill those vessels that are empty. If you're already full, you got full of ideas and aspirations and stuff like that, and if you're full, you can't be filled. And so when you empty yourself out, then you get filled, and you have this overwhelming overflowing of thoughts, and you have all these your subconscious mind comes to the surface, and it presents itself, and your conscious mind takes a break and takes a second seat, and your subconscious mind takes over. So usually with your subconscious mind comes a lot of pretty grand ideas, and they call it being grandiose, but you have all these big ideas, and you have all the liberal arts, and all those types of things, and your rational mind, let's go. And then you kill that powerful king with the sword of intellect, and you kill that king, and you destroy that ego, the one that the master and the slave takes over. So when you do that, basically you're opening yourself up to experiencing different types of things, and you experience higher thoughts, and you end up thinking about things that you normally wouldn't think about, and what you used to think about all the time, you no longer think about, you no longer visit. And a lot of times, you're being more compassionate and you're being associated with the heart chakra, and the heart chakra, and then when that basically melds and fuses with the mind chakra, those two come together, and then what happens is the crown chakra gets enacted, and you have it to where you're thinking really grand thoughts, and you're experiencing things that you normally wouldn't experience. You're seeing things and hearing things. You have eyes to see and ears to hear, and you have to be pretty much predisposed. When they say prepared soil, that's what they're talking about. You have to be predisposed to having these ideas, and these ideas, when they enter into your mind, uh, then they take root and they germinate and they grow into something very large. So, you have, you no longer have the desire to be, let's say, number one. You humble yourself and you're modest and you're resourceful and logical and rational and realistic. And, basically, when you humble yourself, you take a second seat and then you wait to be called to the front of the classroom or to the front where the king is, and the king has his supper or whatever you eat with the king. So, when you become like Christ and you act like Christ, and you do the things that Christ does, then Christ himself becomes like you, and the whole Christ concept gets enacted. So, with that being said, then you start to see the things that Christ can see, and you see the things that, that most people can't see. Those things are hidden. And you can see the spirit realm, and you can see, things that, and you can do things that you couldn't believe you could do before, like walking through walls, and starting things on fire with your mind, and freezing things, and then basically teleporting people through television sets, and like seeing people on the other side of a mirror, and things like that, and you can have control of the sun, the moon, the stars, and control the sun by turning it colors, and you can turn objects different colors, and you can make things disappear, big giant things like buildings, and you start to realize you become like a mastermind, and you start to do things like that. Then you realize that you rule over all, that you conquer the world, and that you've conquered the world, after you've done it so many times that, you no longer, those things that used to be a major challenge for you are no longer a challenge. And, so anyhow, that's really how that works. And, so yeah, the things that you used to desire and the things that you used to chase after, like women and certain types of wisdom, and wine, alcohol, and possessions. You no longer chase after money all the time. It's a good thing to have it, but it doesn't have to be number one in your book. So it's kind of like, if you give the attitude like you don't care, it doesn't matter to you, then what happens is that opens a way for you having more. And this whole mindset that you don't really, it doesn't really affect you either way. You're not attached to it, and you're not hooked on outcomes. You're not hooked on attachments, and those outcomes, no longer take control of you, and you basically let go, and you find out that there really isn't any attachments, and when you desire nothing, there's no attachments, and then you possess nothing. You give up all your possessions, all your family members, all your job, all your possessions, and you let go of all those things, and then you don't lean on your own understanding. You don't, the outcomes, you don't know what they're going to be, and you're kind of a blank slate. But then again, your subconscious mind knows, and that part of you knows, but it's like you don't know, and you're just in the position, you keep yourself open to receiving things, and then then that opens a doorway for you having things. So You're not attached to outcomes. You're not attached to people's opinions. You don't let people sway you. You don't let people try to tell you the right way to do things. And you live life on your own terms. And even how outlandish something seems, you go by your intuition. And once you've made your mind up to do something, you do it. And you're not a coward. You don't think twice about it. You're not double-minded. And you don't turn back. You just keep plowing forward. And you keep doing those things. And then, if you're not a coward about it, and you go forward, then that way, the doorways get opened, and those doorways are open to you, and they're not shut when you knock on them, and they're open to you. And the things that you're seeking, you find, and you seek until you find it, and then then you get kind of disturbed about it, because it presents itself, and then you're disturbed because you don't know how to interpret the moment. But after a moment, then it manifests into something very large, and then when you see that, then you'll be astonished, and then you'll marvel, and you'll be amazed, and then you'll rule over all when you find out that the universe submits to you, when you submit to it. So this blueprint is a general blueprint on how to do it. But if you go to plow the field and you look back, you're not worthy. And if you go to take on a challenge and you look back and you try to stop things from happening because you're chicken that they're not going to work out, then you're not worthy. So you gotta be steadfast, and you gotta be patient, and you gotta keep pushing forward and have courage. So anyway, that's really how it works. I mean, the old ways are gone, and of course that opens the way for the new ways to happen. So you put death to the old ways. You seek death. You risk your life to the point where you risk your life, and you risk life and limb, and you push yourself to that nth degree, and then what happens is, then the universe opens up to you and shows you something so amazing that you can't wrap your mind around it. It's too much for you to take. The kingdom of heaven opens up, the windows of heaven, and your eyes, the windows of heaven, see something that's so spectacular that you can't wrap your mind around it. But I'm not saying this pathway is for everyone. It's only for those who are chosen, and very few people find the pathway. And so when you find it and you make it, and then you find out that at the end of the day, when it's all over, you say it was well worth it. But then again, I'm not necessarily willing to forgo those types of challenges right now, because I've pretty much achieved everything I wanted to achieve. I became everything I wanted to become, and there really isn't anything left to do. So, I just tinker with little things. I fix computers and cameras and stuff, and I collect things. But then again, the money game, that's going to be something that's going to be outdated, and eventually I'll become like the hermit. So anyway, I think that says everything in a nutshell what I wanted to talk about. But don't be faint at heart, just keep plugging forward and keep trying. You dust yourself off again and you get back on the horse. So anyway, have a good day, and I'll add to this later. Over and out.